My friends and I recently set off on our annual Halloween camping trip. It's honestly the tradition we look forward to all year. The perfect escape for us. We found a secluded spot deep in the woods, just off an old logging trail that locals whispered was a place to avoid after sunset. We'd heard the stories, of course, but everything felt perfect when we first set up camp. The only downside was the unsettling quiet that fell over the forest as dusk settled in. It was a heavy, watchful silence, the kind that makes the hairs on your arms stand up. The trail itself looked ancient, overgrown with moss and disappearing into a thicket of gnarled trees. Locals at the general store had warned us about it, spinning tales about a strange whistle that echoed through the trees at night. They said, whatever you do, don't answer it. We laughed it off, chalking it up to old superstitions meant to spook city folk like us. Fast forward to our first night around the campfire. We were roasting marshmallows, sharing ghost stories, and enjoying the crisp autumn air. That's when we heard it. A faint, melodic sound, drifting from the darkness beyond the firelight. It was a whistle, clear and distinct. One short note, followed by two long, drawn-out ones. It wasn't hiding it. The sound cut through the chirping of crickets and the crackling flames, and the woods went completely still, which made it even more unsettling. We assumed it was just another camper, or maybe a strange bird. But after it repeated a few times, a nervous energy settled over our group. That's when Jake, always the skeptic, decided to be a hero. He stood up, a smirk on his face, and perfectly mimicked the whistle back into the darkness. One short, too long. We told him to knock it off, but he just laughed, proud of his perfect imitation. For a moment, there was nothing. The forest fell into an absolute, deafening silence. Not a single cricket, not a rustle of leaves. Then, from directly behind our tent, the whistle answered. It was loud, sharp, and chillingly close. We scrambled into our tents, zipping them up tight and huddling together in our sleeping bags, all bravado gone. The whistling continued intermittently throughout the night, sometimes far away, sometimes feeling like it was right outside the thin nylon wall. Eventually, exhausted and terrified, we drifted into a fitful sleep. By morning, the sun was streaming through the trees, and the fear of the night before felt like a bad dream. But when we unzipped the tent, we saw Jake's sleeping bag was empty. His boots were still by the entrance, and his phone was on his pillow. We called his name until our voices were hoarse, but the only answer was the faint sound of the whistle, carrying on the breeze from deep within the woods, one short, too long.